Alright folks, back again with another quick homebrew review. Now this one, there's a bit of a story behind this one. This is a Coopers Pilsener that I made. Now, if anyone out there is thinking that it's hard to make good beer, then this should highlight just how easy it is, because I made an arse of this. Now, when I say that, I don't say it lightly. Like, I couldn't have made a worse job of making this beer. Okay, I'll tell you roughly what the deal is here. So I used the can of Pilsner, you know, pre-hopped extract. I used a box of Brewmaster 2, Coopers Brewmaster 2. Just the yeast that came with the kit was the lager yeast. I'm quite into the Pilsner Urquell kind of style, and they use Saz hops in that beer. So a friend of mine had used some Saz hops and recommended it, so I put 25 grams of Saz hop pellets in a muslin bag and boiled it on the stove for 10 minutes, more to sanitise it than anything really, and just added it to the wort. Now, when I say I used a box of Brewmaster, what a dick, I can't believe I did all this. It was just mental. This is what happens when you've got kids, or a kid, sorry, and you're trying to just squeeze in a quick brew, you know, like all the elements are kind of falling into place, bed, all this good, right, I've got a little window of time, I'm going to make some beer. I'd recommend to everybody, just write down just a sequence of events, of what you want to do, you know, like put this in, put that in, blah blah blah, have it in a list and tick them off, because I just grabbed the opportunity, I had a little window of time and I thought, right, shit, I'm going to make this, so I just went blah 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 blah, and I put it all together, and God, let me try and remember the mistakes, right. My fermenter is one of the sort of newer style Coopers ones, which is no airlock, you know, it just uses the old burp method with the Krausen collar and all that business. Now, it's sort of semi-clear plastic, and the numbers up the side are also just in the same semi-clear plastic, so they're not that easy to see. Now in this kitchen I can't put my fermenter up on the worktop because there's not enough room with these cupboards here, so behind the camera there's one little section that I can actually put the fermenter up on the counter. Now something happened to be over there, so I just thought, bugger it, I'll do it on the floor. So I had the fermenter on the floor, so that was fine. So I got my can, I put my water in and all that, and I'm just filling it up, you know, and I'm keeping an eye on the level, and I'm like, right, that's cool. And then I actually crouched down and looked, and I'd overfilled it. So I was over the amount that I should have put in it. The temperature was wrong as well. It should have been about between 21 and 27 degrees is what they recommend you pitch the yeast at. It was at 17 degrees, which now looking back for a lager yeast is fine, man, really, I think anyway, but what do I know. So it's over the amount should have been in it, it's under temp. So then I'm like, oh shit, no way, like, oh, I've made a wee bit of an arse of this, but it's cool, you know, whatever. So I just thought, just pitch the yeast anyway, so pitch the yeast in it. I don't really normally stir my yeast, so I just sprinkled it on top and put it there, and I had half a sweat on. I was like, oh, that was a wee bit stressful, I didn't make a very good job of that. And I turned around and I went, shit! Box of Brewmaster on the counter. I hadn't put it in, I was just like, oh my god, what a penis. So opened the box up, ripped it open, and I just, in a panic, I just thought, shit, I need to get this in here. So I opened up the lid, chucked all this powder into a wort that was too cold already anyway. It had a yeast in it already, and I should have probably just put it in a wee bit at a time and stirred it in, but I just panicked and I battered the whole lot in. And I've got the big spoon and I'm just like, oh shit, I don't really want to be hammering the hell out of this, you know, the yeast's in it already, and it was clumping, and I'm pushing big balls of congealed powder against the side of the fermenter, and oh my god, I mean, the hop bag was on there and everything, it was just on the yeast, and oh shit, man. And I was raging with myself because I'd made such an arse of it. Anyway, I stuck it in my cupboard and I just was like, oh, what a dick, man. So I wrote it off. I just wrote it off. I thought, I've made a total arse of that. That is going to be so utterly rank. And that's the other thing I was going to say. I use Star San, and people online have been saying it's cool to just, you know, keep it for a while, and it can sometimes go a little cloudy, but that's fine. And at this point, people are saying that, you know, test the pH strips to make sure it's still acidic enough to work. And at that point, I didn't have any pH strips, so I was just like, look, it's cloudy, but it's cool, it's fine, don't worry, man, it's alright. So, there's the dog back in, nice one. In fact, you want to have a look at the dog? Here we go. You want to say hello, so just say hello. There you go. Right, you've had your 2 seconds of fame. Alright. Okay, so Star San. I'm like, right, okay, so I'd used my Star San I had it in a bucket pre-made, so I put it in the fermenter and I'm swirling it about, and that was good. And then I made an arse of the beer, and then afterwards, when I put the fermenter up in the cupboard, and I just thought, oh man, that was rubbish. I went to lift my Star San bucket and I looked at it and it was cloudy, but when I moved the tub, it was like almost like stringy. It was almost kind of stringy inside, you know. The only thing I can say that it's like when my son has a cup of water and it's like something milky or something, and you just get a bit of that. Ugh. And I looked at that and I thought, oh my god, that Star San is totally knackered. So that was another thing to throw into the mix. I'm thinking, you know, even my Star San was goosed in that, so the whole thing was just utterly a total write-off. And I stuck it on the cupboard and I thought, what a dick, I've just wasted the money and my time, and forget about it, just forget about it. We'll just write it off. Anyway, this is it. And when I bottled it, it just looked murky and cloudy and just not good, man. And anyway, I thought, fuck it, I'll bottle it anyway and we'll just see how it goes. So this is it here. So I made it on the 5th of May. It's now the 24th of June. So it's had a wee while, it's good. The percentage was, I think it's about 4% or something like that, and I can only assume that that's because I didn't get the fermentables in at the right temperature. They probably didn't, you know, it just, oh, just a mess. But anyway, let's open it. Hiss, nice bit of smoke, and I'm going to stick it in a Pilsner or kettle glass. Now, I'm not really that snobby about my glasses, but these are beautiful. Like, if you can get hold of some of these, just get them. They're just a stunning glass. So let's stick it in there. Now, why would you stick a shit beer in a lovely glass, I hear you say? Well, as you can probably see, bit of frosting on the glass, and I'll be honest, it is not crystal clear. it's not. There is a slight milky haze to it. You know, it's slightly cloudy. But do you know what? It tastes fantastic. This is probably the best thing I've made, and it's not just me, because I had my friend over for a bit of a homebrew tasting and barbecue the other night, and he agreed with me. It is great. Now, because it's a lager yeast, when it was fermenting, it smelled quite eggy, you know, that sulphurous thing you get with lager yeast, which is cool. And occasionally you get a little hint of that off the nose. Now that, I'm sure if I just waited, that will completely and utterly go, but this one doesn't have it. It doesn't have it at all. But I'll dive in and give you my thoughts. It's great, it really is. Wow. You know, when you probably think of homebrew lager as being a bit watery or a bit thin or a bit lacking in character and depth, that is lacking nothing. It really is. It's quite amazing. Now, I just reviewed Coopers European Lager, and compared to that, there's just so much more going on. There's so much more depth to it, man. It's more bitter. I mean, it's quite bitter, you know. But you know, for me, like, Pilsners just are like that. There's more going on than just a lager can be a little bit more sort of plainer taste, but that's so true to style as far as I'm concerned. I really can't fault that. I really can't. The only thing that is wrong with that is that it's slightly cloudy. That is the only thing that's wrong with that. It's perfectly carbonated. You can see there, it's got a lovely creamy head. It just is sticking around, properly sticking around. You know, lacing in the glass. Just, I don't really know what more you would want from a homebrew. I'm telling you, I am absolutely going to make this again. But the problem now is, if I made it properly and I didn't have all those problems along the way, would it taste like that? Now, who knows? The only way I can know that is to actually make it again. And I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to go out of my way to make an arse of it, but I'll make it properly and see how it turns out, and then we can compare it against this. But honestly, this is... If I could only make one beer for the rest of my life, I would totally be happy with that. There's no reason I would want anything else. As I said in one of my other videos, you know, that is the kind of beer I like. Totally my style, you know. There's a big thing for IPAs and really massively hopped beers and all that, you know. And the other night I just thought, nah, give them a little try. You know, I had like a really hopped IPA and I was like, you know what? For me, it's too much. The hops are it's just too much. It's masking the malty taste, which is, it's all about a balance for me. I know traditional IPAs are more balanced, but this sort of mega hop thing that just seems to be the thing that's getting pushed right now. And maybe it's a bit like chilies, you know, or something like that. Like when you start getting into eating chilies, the more you eat, then the more you want, and it's, you know, unless you have that massive heat, then you're not really getting the kick you want. And maybe it's like that with hops. Just over time, your palate wants more, and and what have you. But for me, it's too much, man. Just too much. And that, for me, is the perfect balance between malt and hop. Beautiful. Honestly, if you were served that in a pub, absolutely no way you would think there was anything wrong with that at all. In fact, you'd be back for another, there's no doubt. So, let this be an inspiration to any amateur brewers out there. I couldn't have made more mistakes with that. I really couldn't. Apart from just pouring it all over the floor and taking a dump in the bucket, you know, I couldn't have done much more just to make it not work. And it's bang on, man. It's bang on. And I mean, average fermentation temperature for that, I think, is just the sort of, it must have been about 22 degrees. Because my cover tends to sit like about 21, 22 degrees, and most people would say that that is too high a temperature for a lager. Because, you know, I'm no expert on the subject, you know, but I'm pretty sure lager yeast, you know, thrive in much lower temperatures than that, really. But God, if it got any better than that, I mean, really, could it be much better than that? I've not just got low standards, I really don't think so. But anyway, probably rambled on enough about that, but there you go. I would thoroughly recommend doing that. Now, whether the hop addition that I did is the sort of cherry on top that made all that just right for me, I don't know. You could try the straight kit, or you could try it with the hop addition. But I'm definitely going to do that again with the same ingredients but properly. Same hops, same kit, and try it again, see how it goes, because that is a winner. Anyway, so if you like this video, I probably rambled on a bit, but hey, give it a like and please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. So, bye for now, catch you later.